Hello, it's Rachel at From Moments to Milestones, and we have a new paper pad card class featuring the Primrose Garden paper pad and embossed die cuts from Primrose Studio. In your kit, you will receive the embossed die cuts, and then you'll get what's left over. There's tons that we didn't use, and the same with the 6x6 Garden Basics paper collection. So both of those will be in your kit. As well as the 5 kitted cards ready to go. We're going to put those together in this video. These are the 5 cards we're going to make. So it's not just Easter and spring. We've made birthday. We did a baby card, an encouragement card. So we're going to make those cards today. In your kit would also be written instructions on how to put the kits together. And on the back, these are the stamps and dies and whatnot that I use to create the kits. So we will jump in. We're going to start with this card here. I hope this cheers you up. And for every card, we are going to need this package of embossed die cuts because we're going to have to go in and punch those out. So before we even open the card kit, I'm going to go ahead and get out my die cuts. And there are 4 sheets in here. And we are going to need this bird and these butterflies, the butterflies and the greenery. So the greenery is here and the butterflies, we're going to need both of those now. They are hooked in kind of, they're perforated, I guess you want to say. They're completely cut out, but there's some different places where they're not. I like to just go in with a craft knife. So right here is where it's not completely cut through, and then it just releases that. There's usually 2 or 3 spots on each cut. I find that you can use scissors. I like using the craft knife. I think it's the easiest. So there's the greenery, and then we need the butterflies. And then we need the bird, which is on this page here. All right, so easy peasy. Set those aside until we're ready for those again. So we have those 3 die cuts, and then we need our card kit here. So we're going to start with putting on this piece here, and it's going to go centered. I may have cut it a little big. I want to see as much as I can of the birdhouse, so I'm actually probably going to trim mine down a little bit. I think I'm going to, and you certainly don't have to. In class, it worked out just fine. I think I'm going to take a 1/2 inch off the top. So now it measures 3.5 by 5.25. Like I said, you don't have to, but I want to see as much of that birdhouse. If I wouldn't have done that, it would be right in here, and we're going to cover up the bottom, but I want to see if that makes sense. So I'm going to take this piece and put it down on the white card base. And I am going to lift it up. See, that should be good. Yes, just like so. And then this frame goes down. Now you can lay it flat if you choose. I did pop mine up, so I'm going to get out some foam strips. Actually, I have a roll somewhere. Let me just grab that. You know what? The roll is black, and I don't want to use that. So shifting gears one more time. I think I'm going to have to grab some foam strips. I'm out. All right, I have put foam on the back of my frame and I'm ready to place that down so it lines up with the outside of the card base. Line it up down here. All right. And now we're going to put our bird down here and the greenery. And so you will have to pop up where it hangs off of the frame. I'm just going to put a little piece right here. Or I'm on camera. I'm actually going to scoot it down a little bit. There we go. And then I'm going to put wet glue in other places. And so that's going to go just like so. And then the little bird is just going to sit right next to it. So I'll put some foam on him as well. And how far down to go? Oh, not there. Up here. Maybe just a little piece up here. All right. Remove the backing. Put wet glue down here. Just like so. And then our little butterflies, I just have up here in the corner, so I probably just need one. I'm actually just going to put a piece of foam right here in the corner. And then I'll just add some glue right like so. Lay our butterflies down. All right, and then we're going to finish with the sentiment. You can glue it straight down or pop it up. I like foam, so I'm going to use some foam on the sentiment here. All right, I put foam on the back, got the backing removed, and this just goes up here in the top left corner. And that card's finished. For our next card, I'm going to go ahead and grab my die cuts. And we're going to look for this large butterfly, which with the one with the deer here up in the corner, that's the one we're going to need. All right, that's all we're going to need. You also are going to need some blue ink. I inked this blue to get that color. I was struggling to find a cardstock to match, so we're just going to make our own. You could certainly leave it white if you want to, or use a different color, maybe a pink or brown would be pretty. I mean, you've got the wood grain, so you could get away with some brown. All right, I'm going to get my gems out of there as well. So let's go ahead. That way we'll have a little time to dry. We're just going to ink up that. And really, you're only going to see about a ½ inch on each side, so you don't have to do the whole thing. That's good. Clean up that ink. All right. So let's start. You need your card base, and you have these 3 strips of paper. We're going to start with this one here. Just pick one of the butterfly papers, and we're going to put it at the top, leaving an equal border on the sides, so about an 1/8 inch border on the sides and the top. And then we're going to take the other piece and do the same thing on the bottom, leaving that same border. All right, and then this wood piece we're just gonna slip in between. And that will help you get it nice and spaced out the right way. Found it easier to do it that way than to work straight down. And then the same border on the sides, and then just make it equal top and bottom. So there's that. And now we have these 2 pieces here. Now this is a little, I wanted it to be slightly longer. You could leave it like so. As you can see, I didn't get much more out of it, but I did cut it in half. And so I think I spaced it out about a ½ inch, if I remember. So I kind of wanted it overhanging that border there. So just like so, it's centered. I'm going to go ahead and glue one of them down. Then I can use a T ruler. Got one here. We'll make sure, see, I didn't even have it straight. So let's get it straight. And then we can get the other piece straight with that. So just like so. So you're really just getting about another ½ inch out of it. You could certainly leave it short if you want. There's that. And then this piece is going to pop up in the center. All right, I've got foam on the back, and I'm going to lay that down just like so. And then this butterfly is just going to go up here in the corner. Your sentiment's a little bit to the right side, so you have room for it. Now, I have mine popped up another layer, so like this piece is popped up and then the butterfly is popped up on top, so you need a couple layers. It's up to you if you don't want all that dimension. You could just glue it on and then pop up the wings here. So personal choice. If you were going to do what I did, I'm going to put 2 foam squares on the top of the wings and then lay another one right on top. And then you're going to need to just put 1 layer on the bottom here and here. So I'll remove all the backing. I might be able to do 1 more right here just for stability. All right. And it's just hanging off the edge, just like so. All right, and then we're going to finish with these pretty blue gems. So I have one here and there. Let me get my, let's see. Take one of the smaller ones and a medium-sized one. I can get it turned over. Goodness gracious. We've got a big and little. And the other one's off the tape. There we go. All right, so then I have one right here, and then I have just like so. All right, and that card is finished. All right, for our next card, we're gonna need several die cuts. We're gonna need this banner. There's 2 gingham presents, a cupcake, a teddy bear, and this piece back here is a bicycle. So let's start with the banner. Now I will say on the pack of die cuts that I used when I made my card samples, um, I had 1 sheet of them that weren't cut out very well. So I hope that doesn't happen to you, but if it does, you can use a craft knife or scissors to get them out of there. So I think it was just a defect in some of them, not all of them, but they still work the same. You're just going to have to hand cut them. Wanted to say that. So, okay, I see one of the gifts here. And I don't see anything else. This one here with the banner up there, we got the little teddy bear. He's so sweet. The teddy bear, and then this is the bicycle, so he's just below the teddy bear. And let's see, this sheet here with carrots in the top left have the present the larger gingham present. And what else do I need? The cupcake. Here is the cupcake. Here it is. It was on the same one as the banner. So the banner was here. So there's the cupcake. So those are the 6 die cuts we need for this one. All right. We're going to start. This may be confusing. We just conserved paper. I cut this piece from here and we're going to use it, but we're going to put this craft paper down onto the white card base. Whoops. Went way off track there. Hopefully that just rubs off. All right. So make sure my card base is open in the right way, and we're just going to put this piece down. Doesn't matter which direction, it's going to get covered. And we're going to put the bow paper down. Sure my card's going the right way. All right. This piece gets centered. Okay. And then you have this scallop edge and the one that cut out. So we're just going to layer that right on top. So these are 2 different manufacturers. So if they don't match up perfectly along the bottom, that's okay. That part gets covered anyway. So we are going to, now you can pop this up if you want. What I did here is I have this large, these are just scraps of white paper from die cutting and different things. So I'm going to grab some. And sometimes I don't want the full length of foam, or they make a thin size foam. I just don't have any of that. So I'm just going to use up my scraps. So I'm going to layer them. I've got 4 little squares here. You can cut them up however you want. I'm going to put one there. And I'm going to need to cut this one down. Put it here. Same thing to that one. And I'm going to layer it on top there. This one on top there. And if I wanted to go 3 layers, I could. I think I'm just going to do 2. And it will just pop it up ever so slightly and just give that little shadow. I think I did 3 layers here, but I'm good with this. So I'm just going to put that down. It's a good way to use up scraps. And I'm going to, it's not going to be completely center. I'm going to pull it up. So it's about a 1/2 inch from the top of the bow paper so that we have room to line our die cuts up here at the bottom. The little banner is going to go here. I did pop mine up. And I'm just going to wrap it around the top, remove that foam or the backing so it's pliable. I'm just going to stick that on. And then here, we're going to layer that bicycle in the back. It's going to go right there, and it's just glued straight down. Use wet glue, or if you want wiggle room, I would use a tape gun, something that, but if you're happy with that, then this bear is going to go here, the larger present behind the bear. The other present's going to go here, and then we're going to pop the bear and cupcake. So go ahead, that down. this down. Scoot it over a little bit. All right, so let's pop up our bear first. Larger foam squares or circles. Right. So the bear is going to sit right in here. And the cupcake, just like so. Kind of wish that present was up a little higher. I still got time to move it. I did keep where you can see the brown right here and here. You don't have to, you can lower it all down, but there are the die cuts attached, and that card is finished. Okay, our next card, we're going to do a birthday card. So many reasons to celebrate. So let's find our die cuts. We're going to start with this sheet with the deer at the top. We need the little sweet little duck and the balloons. All right, so there's the balloons and the duck. All right, and then we're going to need the cake and the present. So the present's going to be on this one here with the deer, the little blue striped present. And the cake is on this one here. This deer has some balloons and the cake is right here. Right. There's our die cuts. Let's get our kit out. And let's go ahead and start by putting this paper on. So I realized in class I cut these wrong. I think you could leave it like this and just have the white, which is what I'm going to do here. But if you want that border all the way around, then you just need to cut off 1/4 of an inch. I just didn't make that last cut apparently. So let's go ahead, put this down, and then you can see if you like that or not. It's not a big difference. Like I said, if you want to see the white all the way around, you just need to cut 1/4 of an inch off from the top or the bottom. All right, so we have this die cut piece here. The one fits inside the other, and we're just going to put those in the center, about an inch or so down from the top of the card. I'll start with the outside circle. Lay that one down, and then we'll put the inside. All right, so there's a circle, and that's just laid flat. And then we're going to layer up our die cuts. So you're going to have the cake. Oops, I got glue on my fingers. The balloons are back here. the little ducks in front, and then the present behind the duck. So just like so. Now you can glue them down flat, however you want to do it. So what I did is I started with the balloons. Let me get my placement right where I want it. This looks good. All right. So I'm just going to put some wet glue on the bottom of these, and then I popped up just here on the balloons just to give them, I don't want them completely popped, but just a little. So foam at the top, glue at the bottom. I'm going to start here and just tuck those in where I want them. I want to see the bow, and they don't completely cover up. All right, so those are down. Okay, and then I did pop up the cake. Like I said, you could leave. What I did was double popped up the duck like we did in the card with the butterfly. If you don't want to do that, I would glue this cake down. That way you can pop these two things up. All right, so the cake, go right there. Okay, and then the present. All right, so I'm going to kind of hold my duck in place. So he's going to go right there, and then the present will go right in there. A little bit more. All right, those two are just touching right there, and then this is going to get popped up. So I'm going to need two on his feet here. And then it's going to land on the cake, so I just need one at the top. And we'll put him right there. And now he looks like he's standing in front of all that. If you don't want all that layer, I get it. Not a big deal. All right, so there our die cuts are down. And now we have the sentiment. I just have it over here. It's kind of tucked in right there. And we're just going to glue that straight down. You can pop it up if you want because it does have to go over that, the die cut there. So it might not lay super flat. So that's up to you. This is a very delicate die cut and I don't want to cut all that foam, so I'm just going to glue it down. Right there. And I'm just going to put a black over it to hold it down. And then we're going to finish by adding the little jewels. So we have two here, one. We have a medium one and a small one. There's medium. These are not sticky. I don't know why that's sticking to the paper. There we go. And small one. Go. Then we have three up here. So pull those off the paper. Let's see. We've got them here, here, here. Medium, small, large. All right. That finishes that card. Okay, we have one final card here. So before we open it up, let's cut out our die cuts. So we are going to need, there's 2 die cuts inside the envelope, the bow, and then the hydrangeas. So nothing off of that sheet or that one. Go down here with the one with the carrots. At the bottom, you have the large floral scene with the pink and white striped egg. We're going to need that. And then that also has the little hydrangea sprig there. All right. And then on the last sheet is where we're going to find, where is the egg? The other egg. We'll go back. This is where we're going to get the bow. Right, so there's the bow. So we need that other egg. I just overlooked it. Apparently, it was on the very first sheet. This egg right here. It's got a white egg with blue floral print on it. We need that. All right. So let's put our base together. So you have this craft paper onto the white card base. And then this gorgeous egg paper. Now, if you think this card's too busy, you could certainly use this blue behind there instead of the egg. And it might calm it down a little bit. I like that the egg matched what was going on in the paper. So we're just going to center that on there. It won't be super thick border, be a thin border. And then we're going to put this wood piece on this white beautiful die cut here. So we're just going to center that. And then that is going to get glued straight down. Now on this one, I did the same thing with the cardstock trick. So I didn't want a lot of dimension. So let's see, I'm going to cut some strips. All right, let's layer those up. And I'm just going to put them on the back. All right. And then I'm going to lay that down in the center of the card. And I like that little lift it gives so you can see the shadows of that really pretty border there. And now we're going to need our die cuts. So the 2 eggs are going to tuck inside. So your envelope has a slit. And we're going to tuck them inside. So there's one. And the other one is going to go in front, just like so. So I'm going to flip it over. I like where that is. I'm just going to add some glue right there. Get that part stuck down. We're going to do the same thing here. This one I'm going to put just a little glue on the bottom and tuck it in. Okay. there's that piece. And then what I'm going to do is, let me find my phone. I want them to look like they're really coming out of the envelope. So I'm going to put some foam just on the ends, and that'll help raise it and make it look like it's popping out of the envelope. So I put a piece here, here. Not ready to stick yet. Okay. There we go. So now it looks like a little bit more. There's some dimension there, and it's popping out of the envelope. So this, you could pop it up if you want. I'm not going to because I'm going to pop up the bow. All right, so this piece we're going to glue down at an angle here, and this is going to get glued straight down. And I've got it tilted. You could put it straight on if you wanted to. Tilt it the other way. It's entirely up to you. Just like so. And then we're going to pop up this bow here, and then we have another flower, another spot to tuck in our sentiment. So I'm going to pop up the bow and the hydrangea. 1, 2. There's the bow. Very sweet. And then your sentiment could go lots of different places. You could forego this piece. You could tuck it in if you wanted some more florals. You put the Easter joy there. Put it here. I'm going to kind of have it going with the envelope, and then put my my little flower arrangement off to the side. So I'm just going to put some adhesive on that, and I'm not overlapping it. It's just below, keeping that edge on the card, and then I'm going to add some foam to the back. Oh my gosh, I can't get that one off. Okay. And that piece is just going to come down here in the corner like so. And then to finish this card, we've got some more gems. So we're going to pull those off of blue tape. All right. See, we have one up here, so a large one up there. And then we have another large one down here. Let's see, I'm going to put these two on first. Medium and a small. Okay, and then these other two. I don't know why it's sticky on the bottom. Okay. I'm having a hard time with these today, and I wasn't earlier. I'm just going to put them just like that. All right. And that card is finished. All right, well, that wraps up this card class. I hope you enjoyed this kit. I really had fun playing with these, and I look forward to using up the rest of the die cuts and paper. I think I only used a sheet of each pattern, and so you were left with 2 of each of these patterns, so plenty of cards left to be made, um, and lots of die cuts too. They could be super easy cards. You could use the same die cuts, similar ideas to recreate some more cards to add to your stash. If you're interested in a kit, you can check us out on the web from momentsmilestones.com. Check our card kit inventory there to see if we have any left. This is the Primrose Garden card class. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you again next time.